What is up, walk-ins? Welcome, family. We're glad to have you back for another episode, and we are all about helping you triple your revenue through digital marketing services and exceptional patient experience. I'm Nick Horde. I've got Michael Ray with me. What's up, brother?
Hello, good to see you. I feel like you just came from a plane, didn't you?
I have been flying this morning, and I'm back in my happy place.
If people don't know, Nick is a pilot. He may have mentioned it a few times, but
one time.
Exactly.
I'm not like, now, if you're a vegan, don't get offended, but I'm not the vegan CrossFitter person that's like within 3 seconds of meeting me.
So we're making this awkward already because we do have a guest on here.
Hey, Katie.
Hello, Katie. So who do we have on today? We have Katie Hamilton with Healthcare Procurement Solutions. In a nutshell, she is the Sam's Club of medical supplies. So what does that mean? So she actually helps basically clinics make purchases of medical supplies at a discounted rate. And it's really fascinating. We talked about it's actually a great way. And I joked with Nick and I said, I think we should have a expense reduction series because now this is like our third or fourth guest.
That's right.
It's like, this is how you can save some money and grow your practice. So anyway, Katie, great to have you on today.
Welcome to the
Thanks
podcast.
for having me.
Say hello to the crew and tell us one thing about you that nobody else knows. I'm going to go ahead and do that anyway.
Okay. Thanks for having me, guys. Let's see, something about me. Well, I don't know. An interesting fact, I'll say. I broke my femur and found out I was pregnant in the same day. So,
Oh, Lord.
That's like
That's
a TLC moment.
right?
I was going to say.
It was a big
you good
day.
Now? Can you walk now?
I'm good. Oh, I'm good.
I can only see you from like the neck, shoulders up. Like for all I know that. Anyway, well, look, all the same, Katie, we're glad to have you on the podcast today. I know that your company brings some real value to the urgent care and medical space, and I'm looking forward to talking about that. First thing I've got to just pull out is you said that she's like not the Walmart, the Sam's, and I'm going, why are you not like the Costco? Like, what's the difference between this? I'm just kidding. Hey, tell us about your company, Healthcare Procurement Solutions. What are you guys all about?
So Healthcare Procurement Solutions, or HPS, as we call it, is a group purchasing organization. We're a sponsor of Premier, which is the largest national GPO. Really, we were just created to help physicians and their privately owned practices save money, cut overhead, pretty much pool the purchasing power of all of our members together to negotiate better cost. So,
yeah, and I noted that you've been doing this for quite a while now. It's 13 years, so 2010 when you got into it, right?
Yes, this is the only job I have had out of college. I got hired about 3 months after I graduated and have been able to see just tremendous growth and change in the industry and our company itself. And it's been awesome.
You're giving me hope because we usually hire somebody out of college.
We get a year.
And we get maybe a year, and then they go on to their next thing, which is fine.
In California.
Yeah, they all make us better, and they all leave on good terms. But that's incredible that you stuck with it, which means you know a thing or two.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you've probably seen a lot. I mean, obviously you survived COVID, which I'm sure was a wild. I mean, is there any stories out of COVID that you were experiencing on your end that people just could not believe?
Well, it really changed the way we work. Before COVID, I did a lot of, in-person meetings and help people, especially with new setups, if they were opening a new practice. And now it's really kind of been mostly, emails or Zoom calls. And so it's kind of changed the way that we meet with our customers. But, COVID has only made us motivated to go find additional savings, especially just with the cost of things going up and people looking to save money. So it's been a challenge, but overall I feel like we have overcome any roadblock we've encountered since COVID. So it was a little crazy not being able to get people all their PPE supplies like gloves and masks and stuff like that, but we were able to pull through and find some other outlets that we didn't know we had before. So it was a good thing.
That opens up a little bit of conversation for me. Is my initial thought immediately when I think of medical, I'm thinking of medical supplies like tables and these machines that, are 10 million, whatever it is. Starts with a 10. But these massive amounts of money that they spend on equipment, and you're over here talking about, gloves and things that you need on a regular basis, consumables, it sounds like. Give me some range on what your company offers as far as, group buying.
So there's a wide range of things that we offer. In the medical supply side of things, we have over 1,400 contracts for medical supplies with different manufacturers. So we do everything from Band-Aids and table paper and syringes to the equipment that you're talking about.
Okay.
So there's a wide range. That's why it's really great when we can, come in when someone is opening a practice or a startup or opening a new location, because they can really save a lot of money on their equipment and large purchases. Obviously, the small things, all add up, but the bigger purchases, if we can save them. For example, I had a doctor who was opening a practice, and with our mid-mark pricing on their tables, they were able to get, it was $500 off each exam table.
That paid for all their gloves.
Those big bulk of money. I think they were getting 6 tables. So,
right.
It's really great to be able to save doctors money, especially in today's world.
I'm not going to keep coming back to Sam's, I promise. All right, but
You're going to keep coming back to Sam's till she says Costco.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to. I may. Shut up. I might.
Yeah, I love Costco.
So,
He used to work at Costco a
used to
long
work at
time
Costco.
ago, so there's a bias for sure.
Kind of, but I've got a Sam's membership because they have a really cool app. Do you have a really cool app? I need to know. Anyway, no, my question is like a club, you're buying in bulk or, the group buying, is there a membership to this?
So there is a membership. It's completely voluntary and there's no cost involved. But you do sign up to be a member of Premier. And then that's where most of our contracts are held under Premier. There are a couple that are direct contracts with certain manufacturers, but for the most part, we get you an enrollment packet. You sign up with Premier. We get a member number, and then we're able to link contracts with our different vendors.
Okay.
So we're exclusive with McKesson for the medical supplies. So McKesson has access to all of our contracts. And then we have a wide range of other things as well, like cell phone savings and FedEx and Office Depot. Really a piece of each part of the business that they're going to be spending money on.
So, that's a word to our listeners. If you have any McKesson product in your clinic, you're not ordering through a situation like this type of setup, you're probably losing money and not knowing it. Or you could be saving money and not knowing it.
Right.
So, I remember when you and I talked briefly before this, and you were talking about technically there's no risk, there's no membership fee, you're not required to purchase. It's more like sign up, and if you see an opportunity to save money, make the order. And if you don't, then don't make the order. It's one of those rare win-win situations. Like I was trying to poke holes in it because I'm good at poking holes. I was like, well, this seems legit. It seems very good. So
it does. So our founder, Don McGahee, he really created this company for clients of Medical Management Associates, which is a physician consulting firm out of Atlanta. And he was just looking to help them cut overhead and figure out, what their issues were, where they were spending too much money. And once, it became a hit with them, he opened it up to outside of their clients. And we've really just grown immensely from there. There's no specialty that's not a good candidate for the program. We do everything from urgent cares and primary care to surgery centers and imaging centers. So it's really a great program. There's a piece of the program that it will work for everyone, whether you're already using the services or whether you're using a competitor. We do price comparisons, completely confidential, obviously. We can just kind of look and see what the options are for you. We do the legwork to help make purchasing decisions.
We had a great idea before we got onto this call with you today on how you could offer marketing services.
Yeah, we were joking like, hey, it's like, can we get
Hey, we'll
on
talk offline after that.
There you go.
I'm just saying, it's such a genius concept to me. So most business owners are going to think in this kind of triangle, like you can have two of these three sides of the triangle. One of them is quality, one of them is convenience, and one of them is cost, right? So pick two, because you're going to have to sacrifice one of them. Right. Tell me about how this triangle works with procurement.
So it's kind of neat because obviously different practices operate in different ways. There's practices that want to buy, the best cost point, and then there's ones that don't care what it costs. They want the best quality product. And what's nice about what we do is we can help get those quality products at a better price where, there's examples of us being able to provide a name brand for a better cost than a private label brand, which is just unheard of.
Yes,
that's really cool. That is unheard of. I mean, my goodness, if I walked into a store and Kellogg's was cheaper than Great Value, like that would throw me off a little bit. Like that's not right.
The only way that's happening is like
they're trying to get rid of it.
Buy one, get one free. It's expired.
Like that's that weird cereal that nobody wanted.
Right. So
we really operate on, our kind of bottom line has always been do what's best for the customer. And even if that means turning away the business because they have a better option elsewhere, that's what we're going to recommend. It's rare that happens. It's really only if there is a government contract that they're able to access that they're going to get a better cost than what we have. So for community health centers and certain specific things, we might not be able to show savings in certain areas, but we really just like to lay it all out there and help practice managers or physicians make the best decisions and get the best cost. And there's really, no reason for us not to just be honest and help. As a consultant, I love that I don't have to convince anyone to buy anything. I'm not convincing them of anything except, selling a service that really offers them savings. And like I said, if they want to use each piece of the program, or if they want to use one piece of the program, it's really just, figuring out what the member needs are.
So the vast majority of our listening audience is urgent cares, all right? And we do have some chiropractors and we have some other medical practices types that listen to us. We're glad you're listening. Thank you. But with that being said, do you have any stories of how you've been able to help any specific urgent care or somebody similar to that with your services?
And like I had mentioned when we first talked, it's okay to use the jargon side of things because the people that are listening totally they know what you're saying. So yeah, if there's a specific story that you can share with us, that'd be fantastic.
So recently we like to do what's called account reviews, contract reviews, account reviews, after a certain amount of time, whether it's, after 6 months or after a year of them signing up, just to kind of look back and see, okay, do we have all the contracts connected that need to be? Because of course, working in our world, we work with a lot of manufacturers and we have to have, declaration forms signed and then it has to be approved. And sometimes it can be a long process to get certain contracts in place. So we really just like to go back and double check on those. And I'll tell you that last week I did an account review with a local clinic here in town. It's actually a urology group. But we did a account review and we found that there were some BD contracts that were not connected that we had available. And just by getting those BD contracts loaded, it was a $40,000 savings annually.
So crazy.
Say that one more time for the people in the back.
That's a salary for somebody.
It was massive, honestly. Really and truly, we found anywhere from about 15% to about 30% savings is pretty normal when we take a look overall.
Because I imagine when you guys place orders with clinics, it can be in the hundreds of thousands, large numbers. So when you say 15 to 30%, that's a couple of salaries to people. That's the difference between a good year and a bad year.
Honestly, it covers your rent.
Yeah, it could
we've had customers tell us that we helped them keep their doors open because otherwise they were going to be bought out by a hospital or by an equity group, and they didn't want that. They wanted to remain private and independent, and we've been able to come in and help do that with our program. So
that's
I would urge your listeners, if they aren't paying attention to what their costs are month to month or year to year, they need to, because it's amazing, the savings that's available if it's done right.
I just like the fact that you said they don't want to be bought by the hospital and you create an opportunity where they didn't have to be. It never even occurred to me like they're having to short sell themselves to a local hospital because they're suffering. Never occurred to me like that's an actual thing.
Well, I mean, Michael, right now, more than anything, at least to our listening audience, they don't have built-in COVID anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
They don't have this built-in group
demand.
of people and demand that's been pushed on every news outlet saying you need to go get checked, you need to go get checked, you need to go get checked. As a matter of fact, best I can tell, you don't hear about it at all anymore.
Yeah.
And that being said, like their numbers have fallen off drastically. This right here could save a business.
Yeah. Well, I even so a lot of urgent cares that we work with, it's very common for we lose the client because they got acquired at some point, because we've noticed that industry is very comfortable with a people being acquired, where they grow it to 5 or 6 locations, and then a bigger one just gobbles it up, or the hospital comes in and just wants to take over the whole area. We see that a lot. I remember when we first started looking at working with urgent cares, I bought a list of urgent cares, and it was probably 10,000, and I went back and checked them, and probably 10% were no longer an urgent care standalone. It had been moved over to a hospital system, quite a bit. It's just so fascinating.
It is, and I think that also with doctors who might have come from a hospital setting where they were getting better pricing because of their volume at the hospital, and then they open a private practice and they realize oh wow, I can't get near the pricing I can get just being a single doctor.
Well, you
or in a group of 20.
That right in the face. You just fixed all of that right there, right? That's because as good as a hospital is, as contracted or whatever, they're still going to be running 15-30%. It's not like they're getting half off.
That's so, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The company still has to make money. We understand margins are going to be 20 to 30% on any kind of supply with cost of goods and everything. This is a fantastic savings.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
It is. And I really, I have several McKesson reps that I work with so much that they know the program, they know the ins and outs, and they sign up all of their customers with me because they're like, why would I not? I mean, you get me better access to better cost where I can give the customer a better price. And it's really a win-win for both of us because they can bring in the savings, and then the customer can have a great cost. So it's a fantastic program.
And honestly, it just saves not just money but headaches. Where you're because I even internally here, we have to do vendor reviews. Pretty common. Have to go in and what are we spending with them and we'll always find if we don't do it, we find holes. We're like, wow, why are we spending that much with that one vendor? And we find out, it's because it's one thing we don't even do anymore, and it's sitting there costing us money or whatever. And it's difficult to say every quarter I need to review something because I'm like, it should be okay, but then it ends up not being. And I'm sure clinics are the exact same way where I don't have time to review this stuff, just place another order. It is what it's they have this mindset if I'm ordering from them, I'm probably getting the only price I'm allowed to get because we've all been kind of trained that way, that if I'm placing that order, I can't negotiate that order. So anyway, it's so fascinating.
No, you're right. And there's a lot of times where, they might not even realize that there's other options available, or they might think that, they're locked into a contract. I find that a lot with the medical waste providers and shredding companies. They might be locked into something, or they think they're locked in and they're paying a price, but it's really way too high, and we're able to help get them out of their contracts and provide savings. So it's every piece of the business is important. We want to know where they're struggling, where are they spending too much money, or obviously they're looking for savings overall, but specifically, where can we help them find savings?
Yeah.
Well, so that brings me to, kind of how I wanted to segue this, which is, walk us through the process. Somebody says, hey, I'm interested in saving money, and it looks like Healthcare Procurement Solutions can help me with that. I should call them. So boom, the phone rings. Where do we go from there? Tell me about the whole process from that phone ring to boom, they're your customer.
Okay, so the first step that I do is get the account name and information. I plug that into our system just to make sure that they're not already under Premier, connected to us or a different sponsor of Premier. There's times back in the day, GPOs were something that the medical reps could just sign their customers up to. So there's times where we find that the customer doesn't even know they're a part of something, but we find them on the list from 20 years ago. So the first step is to check, make sure they're eligible, and then secondly, filling out the enrollment packet for Premier. It takes them about 48 hours to get a member ID number. And then I take that member ID number and link it to any of the vendors that they're looking to use, whether it's Office Depot or the McKesson. I work closely with the McKesson reps to get the account information, and we kind of work behind the scenes to link up all of the contracts in the system, and then make sure that it's connected and that they're seeing the right cost and all of that. So I'd say it's really from the time they sign the paperwork to when everything is loaded. It's about a 6-week process to get everything loaded up. There's ones that are loaded the next week, but some of the longer contracts take up to 60 days.
What are the hurdles that you run into during this process?
So I guess some of the hurdles are if they are connected to a premier sponsor that's not us. Sometimes we have to send in a transfer form, and that sponsor can just simply say no. And if they're not doing anything for the customer doesn't even know they're connected to them. Premier was made up of a lot of hospitals at one time that were sponsors, and so local groups were just added under whatever hospital was closest to them. So it's confusing for the customer to say, well, we have no connection to this hospital. They don't do anything for us. They don't provide any services. But yet it's kind of a roadblock for getting them signed up with us. I will tell you, though, that the transfer process and all of that has really changed a lot recently. And we have not run into nearly as many issues with that as we used to. But even if they're on a different GPO, if they're on a competitor, if they're using a different distributor, those are never an issue. They're allowed to be on multiple GPOs. They're allowed to use different distributors. They're not going to have to purchase everything through McKesson. Obviously, they won't get the premier cost unless they're buying it through there. However, it's it's a very physician-friendly program. If they want to purchase from 5 different people, then that's totally up to them.
That's fantastic. All right, I'm gonna wrap up my questions, and then Michael, you can load from there. My last one is, you had made a couple of mentions of competitors and other people that are doing this, correct? Other companies.
Yes.
So now is really the time to shine, right? Like, why? What is your unique selling proposition? If everybody's connected to Premier, and Premier is the one who's giving the discounts, tell us why.
Why Katie?
Call Katie.
Why Katie?
Let's call
Yeah.
Katie.
So Premier has a huge portfolio of contracts. We have access to everything in Premier. However, HPS is an aggregator, which means that we have gone out in addition to what Premier has and aggregated our own contracts with some of these manufacturers, to where we have contracts with certain manufacturers that Premier does not have access to.
Okay.
So you can be a member of
A little
Premier.
bit of inside track there, right?
There you go. You can be a member of Premier and get a lot of great pricing, but HPS is kind of a step above what Premier has, and we've negotiated our own contracts. Our contracts department works so hard to make sure that we are competitive and have the best cost. Like, if we're going to promote that we have the best cost, we absolutely want to deliver on that.
I feel like, so we have a coworker here named Kimberly, and I think y'all would be best friends because her favorite pastime is finding discounts and looking for ways to save money.
She's the definitive coupon shopper.
Yeah, she's the type where, like, I'm not paying that, and calls them up. Hey, it's got a discount because I asked. It's like,
right.
How do you do this?
I love it. Does Kimberly want to come work for us?
I know, right? She'd probably have a blast.
She may, but I don't want her to.
There you go. We like her here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd like to keep her on board as long as possible.
Yeah.
So,
No, but really, I think that, our just mission of doing what's best for the customer and always, making the right choice, sadly, is not everyone's goal.
Right.
And we really stick true to that and, want to provide the best options for our customers. And like I said earlier, even if that means sending them elsewhere or saying, I think you can do this better by doing, ABC, then that's what we're going to do. So we've turned down, business because a different distributor says, hey, we want access to your contracts. They don't want to leave us, but we want access to your pricing. And we've said, sorry, We're exclusive to McKesson, and it's been a agreement since 2002 when we were created that we are exclusive. We've chosen kind of one vendor for each piece of the business, where most GPOs will work with anybody. So I might, have a McKesson rep bring me into an account and get them signed up, but then, flip them over to a different distributor. And so we've really gained the trust of our distributors and our partners, because we are loyal in that we're going to do what's best, and we're going to walk away if that's what's best.
Well, and I'd say too, I think one of the other side benefits or fringe benefits, whatever you want to call it, I have a point of contact now, right, where I'm not dealing with 30 vendors and I don't know who's who. And so like, hey, Katie, need some help. We got you. Yeah. Like, this is what you want to do, sign this and move on. Like this, to me, like that's one of the major benefits, so when we take on a new client in urgent care specifically, 9 times out of 10, the doctor talks to us, and then we never hear from the doctor again. And then it goes over to
which is a shame, because we miss them.
Yeah, we like talking to them, and but we never hear from them. Like they pass us on to an administrator, and the administrators, you could tell, it's like, I got 10 minutes. What do y'all need? It's like this constant moving target for them, and so it's just I would think just like a time saver itself of like, I don't have to think about this. Katie's got my back. She can take care of this for me. I'm confident when I place this order, I'm getting the best deal I can get. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And we really hear that from our vendors too, that say, and customers, just saying like, the fact that I have like a name and number to call instead of just wondering like, well, is this going to get connected? Do I need to email customer service? Being able to call me and say, hey, whatever the issue may be, we can't get our cell phone discount in place. Instead of trying to call Verizon and say, hey, and talk to 5 different people before someone knows what you're talking about. I'm a direct source where I can usually nip it in the bud. Typically there's, a handful of what the issue might be, and I've dealt with it before, and so we can get it handled a lot quicker.
It's always like, the right questions and the right answers, where you can skip past all the garbage and get like straight to it and not play this dance. So you're talking about the discount on the phone thing. It just makes me laugh. Like when we were walking through Sam's and the guy grabbed you, he's like, "We're going to get you a discount," and he's like, we find out later, like, it was half true. It wasn't all true.
I don't want to talk about it like that. I got to bring that up.
People get excited about saving money on their cell phone bill, and it's something that the office manager, the doctor can pass along to all of their employees, and just kind of have a perk saying, hey, because you work here, you get an AT&T or a Verizon discount on your personal phone, and it's linked to everyone who's on the account. So that's spouses, children, grandmother, whoever's on their line. It's a 22 to 25% discount, depending on which company you're with. So it's,
ready to be
it is, but it's funny because that seems like such a small thing, but it's probably one of the biggest programs or one of the most common ones that I do, because aside from the medical supplies, they're interested in saving money on their cell phone.
That's right. Well, it's something you have to pay over and over again,
and you have to have it.
And they've gotten very expensive.
Yes,
they have. My goodness,
it's not getting cheaper. All right, so we're up on our time already. It's already been almost 30 minutes.
That's how it goes.
I love how fast this goes. But so Katie, tell us how our audience can get in touch with you. What's the best way they can reach out? Tell us how to communicate with you.
So they are welcome to visit our website, www.healthcareprocurement.com. And there's a Meet the Team link on there. All of my information, my email, my phone number, all of that is on the website. And then also, if they're outside of Alabama, I can direct them to the right person if it's not me. I have Alabama, Florida, Mississippi. And so outside of that, we have other reps that cover the states. But we have a fantastic team. And I would say go to the website. That's another place to click around. They can find out more about what our offers are, who the vendors are, and they can also click the Enroll Now button and fill that out, just kind of checkboxing any programs that interest them. That way it comes to me and I kind of have a starting point of what we're going to be looking into.
Can I go there and check box cell phone plans and just call?
I'll open
You
it
can try.
up. We have patient in our name.
Yeah, we have patient in our name, so I feel like it would almost qualify. So
I will,
know
hey, I
that
will,
look.
I
That
will
is the
do
look
everything
of-
I can.
That's the look of tell the child not to come in.
Yeah,
on
that
the
was
call. I know that
leave
look.
the room, child. Oh,
Okay.
there he is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's up,
there you
dude?
go. Hey,
What's up, buddy?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Tell him he'll be YouTube famous before it's
There
over
we go.
with.
Tell him the world's watching.
Oh,
We've
he
been
wishes.
having- That's awesome. Well, we've been having a great conversation with Katie. We're so glad that you came on the call with us and your son.
There you go.
We hope to have you back on with us in the near future, and just want to thank you for your time today.
Thank y'all so much for having me on.
All right.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we will catch y'all on the next one, and we'll see. We are almost to 100 episodes.
Are we doing a countdown to 100?
I mean, we're about to hit. This is number 89. So I think. So
11 more to go.
We got 11 more to go to 100, which is fantastic.
I'll get excited at 99. And then we'll
Okay, then yeah, there you go.
All right.
Thank you,
Katie.
Katie,
Thanks
so
for joining
much.
us.
Thank y'all so much.
All right.